The ground shudders, a constant, deep-seated tremor that speaks of the world's angry heart. Ash falls like a grey, persistent snow, coating the hairy shoulders and matted hair of the people of the Red Ochre. The three suns. They have fled the burning mountain, a pillar of smoke and fire that has consumed their world, a violent chapter in the long saga of prehistoric life. The clan of Homo habilis moves not as individuals but as a single, frightened organism, a chain of 32 souls linked by grunts, gestures, and the shared terror of the sky bleeding fire behind them. Durko, the old matriarch, leads them. Her face is a cracked riverbed of wrinkles and soot, but her eyes miss nothing. She remembers stories from her grandmother of the last time the mountain coughed. High warning. This is no cough. This is a death roar. Their exodus is a desperate gamble, a flight from one form of extinction to another, a brutal lesson in the timeline of human evolution. They reach the mouth of the Serpent's Spine, a narrow canyon carved through the granite teeth of the uplands. It is their only hope. Beyond this pass lie the cool, wet lowlands, a land of fat lizards and sweet roots they have only heard of in generational whispers. A wave of collective relief washes through the clan. The young ones, their energy flagging, find a new spring in their step. The hunters, their shoulders rough from carrying haunches of scavenged meat and heavy stone tools, straighten their backs. Survival seems possible again. But Tug, the clan's sharpest-eyed scout, freezes at the entrance. He raises a hand, pamphlet, the signal for silence, the signal for danger. The hopeful murmurs die in 32 throats. The only sound is the distant thunder of the burning mountain and the soft hiss of falling ash. The smell hits them first. It is the thick, coppery stench of old blood and a musk so potent it makes their eyes water. The ancient perfume of a predator so vast its very presence taints the air. Then they see the tracks, not footprints, but craters pressed into the rocky ground, each one large enough for a full-grown man to lie down in. Something immense has scraped the canyon walls, leaving deep gouges in the stone 10 feet above their heads. This is not the trail of a hunter passing through. This is a den, a throne room, a territory. As they huddle behind a cluster of basalt columns, they see it. It moves with the slow, arrogant grace of utter dominance, a mountain of muscle and serrated teeth. A Giganotosaurus. It is larger than any nightmare. Its hide a tapestry of ancient scars, its breath of foul mist in the cool air. This is the truth about dinosaurs they have always known. They are not animals, they are gods of destruction. The great beast is not hunting, it is patrolling. It lowers its colossal head, rubbing a gland below its eye against a towering boulder. An act of ownership so profound it feels like a physical blow. A territorial display. Then, it lifts its head to the grey sky and releases a roar. The sound is not merely heard, it is felt. A seismic wave that vibrates through their chests and rattles the very stones they hide behind. It is a declaration, a statement of power that echoes down the canyon, a proclamation that this land, this pass, this gate to their salvation, belongs to it alone. The clan shrinks back. The burning mountain is the unstoppable force at their backs. This impossible creature, this monarch of a world built on flesh and fear, is the immovable object before them. They are trapped between fire and teeth, and the hope that flickered moments before is extinguished, buried under a fresh layer of falling ash. Despair settles over the clan, a cold, heavy blanket heavier than the ash. The children, sensing the finality in their parents' stillness, press closer, their whimpers muffled against greasy hide wrappings. The hunters grip their fire-hardened spears, the chipped stone tips looking like children's toys against the memory of the giant's teeth. This is a choke point in their very evolution, a moment that will define their brief hominid history. They have faced the fangs of the saber-tooth, the charge of the woody rhino, and the cunning of the raptor pack. But those were battles. This is an execution. The Giganotosaurus, now placidly tearing a strip of flesh from a carcass near the canyon's far end, is not an enemy to be fought. It is a feature of the landscape, as impossible as the burning mountain itself. The world of these ancient humans is a cage, and the bars are closing in. But in the crucible of absolute hopelessness, a new kind of fire is forged. It is not the hot, roaring fire of the mountain, but the small, sharp spark of intelligence. Took, his face a mask of grey dust, does not watch the dinosaur. He watches the canyon. His gaze travels up the sheer rock face opposite their hiding place, tracing fractures, noting overhangs. He sees what the others, mesmerized by fear, do not. A scar in the cliffside, a vast section of shattered rock and scree, barely clinging to the precipice. It hangs there like a stone wave, held in place by a few precariously balanced boulders. He nudges Ocker. He doesn't speak. He points, first to the loose rock, then to the great beast below. Then he mimes a great crashing, a thunderous fall. Ocker understands instantly. Her eyes, which had held only the reflection of their doom, now narrow with calculation. A desperate, almost insane plan forms in the silent space between them. It is a testament to their survival skills. They cannot move the immovable object, but perhaps they can make a noise loud enough to draw it away. The plan spreads through the clan not in words, but in a ripple of urgent gestures. It is a plan born of primitive technology and immense courage. A team will climb the far cliff. They will use their heaviest tools. They have dead alder and choppers, and long, sturdy branches pried from petrified logs as levers. They must dislodge the keystones and bring the mountain down upon itself. The sound, the dust, the sheer violence of it might be enough. It might buy the clan the few precious heartbeats they need to sprint through the pass. It is a fragile hope, but it is the only one they have. Took volunteers himself with a simple tap to his own chest. Two other young, weary climbers, a male named Goro and a female named Disha, do the same. There are no speeches, only a shared look of grim understanding. They are the sacrifice, the bait offered to the gods of chance. While they climb, the rest of the clan readies itself, stripping away all but their most essential tools and the youngest children they will carry, preparing for a desperate race against the returning Titan. The constant seismic tremors from the volcano provide a low, thumbing beat to their frantic, silent work, a drumbeat for what is to come. The climb is a vertical nightmare. Took, Goro, and Disha move with the desperate agility of creatures who have spent their lives in a three-dimensional world of rock and fear. Handholds crumble under their weight, sending showers of pebbles clattering into the depths. Below, the Giganotosaurus continues its patrol, oblivious, a walking god of death in its stony temple. The air is thick with ash and the metallic scent of their own terror. Reaching the fractured ledge, they waste no motion. They jam their fire-hardened poles into the cracks, their alder and choppers hammering at the smaller, wedged stones. This is the apex of their anthropology, the raw application of mind over matter, a desperate gambit in a world not made for them. The groaning of the rock is a low, agonizing sound, barely audible over the volcano's rumble, but the great beast hears it. It stops, its massive head, a battering ram of bone and teeth, swivels and tilts upwards. Its reptilian eye, a pitiless gold orb, fixes on the source of the disturbance. For a heart-stopping moment, it watches them, with a scream of pure fury. It charges towards their side of the canyon. Now two grunts, and the three of them throw their entire weight against the levers. The keystone shifts. For an instant, nothing happens. Then, with a sound like the world cracking open, the entire rough case gives way. Tons of granite and scree plummet downwards in a deafening avalanche of sound and fury. The dust cloud is so thick it momentarily blots out the sky. The clan, waiting at the canyon mouth, does not hesitate. Ocker gives a sharp cry, and they run. It is a mad, silent scramble over the uneven ground, a race against the echoes of their own gambit. The young cling to their mothers' backs, their faces buried in hair and hide. The hunters from a desperate rear guard, their eyes fixed not ahead, but behind. The Giganotosaurus, confused and enraged by the assault, roars and charges into the dust cloud, snapping at the cascading rock, its powerful instincts telling it to attack the threat. The clan is halfway through. The air in the canyon is clearer, the path to the lowlands visible. But the beast is intelligent. The rocks have stopped falling. The threat is gone. It realizes it has been tricked. It wheels around, its immense form materializing from the settling dust, and its eyes lock onto the last of the fleeing figures. It is faster than they could have imagined. Lurker, helping an elder with a twisted ankle, sees her coming. She sees the closing distance, feels the thunder of its steps in her bones. She knows they will not all make it. The predator will catch the slowest, and its rampage will consume them all. In that final, crystalline moment, there is no choice, only the cold, hard calculus of survival. She shoves the elder forward, screaming a single command. Run, she terms. Lying on the ground is the massive femur of some long-dead sauropod, a piece of raw osteodontocratic material. She EFTs the bone club, a final, defiant act of a species that refuses to simply be prey. She stands her ground, a tiny speck of mammal defiance against a Mesozoic nightmare, and screams her challenge as the shadow falls over her. The clan hears one last sharp cry, abruptly silenced. They do not look back. They have just survived their own personal extinction event, and the path to the future is paved by the bones of their matriarch. They run until the thunder of the burning mountain is a dull ache in the soles of their feet, and the memory of the great dinosaur is a scar on their souls. They do not know it, but they carry more than their lives from that canyon of fire and teeth. They carry a seed. Aka's sacrifice was not just the desperate act of a cornered animal. It was a tactic. It was the birth of the feint, the gambit, the understanding that the mind could be a sharper weapon than any tooth or claw. In that moment, a group of terrified Homo Habilis did not simply survive. They innovated. They used the landscape as a weapon and community as a shield. Millions of years later, this same instinct, the willingness of one to stand before the jaws of oblivion for the sake of the many, would be refined into the strategies of generals and the selfless acts of heroes. It is the core of our unlikely ascent, the audacious human answer to a world that was bigger, stronger, and faster. How many unrecorded canyons hold the dust of such ancestors? How many forgotten sacrifices form the foundation of the world we now command? Their courage echoing in the bedrock of our own defiance. Listen closely to the silence between your own heartbeats. The oldest stories are buried there. The shadow of the winged hunter circles a new hunting ground, its eyes seeing not prey, but the challenge.